Hey everybody, this is BJ and Cooking and Things. How y'all doing today? I thought I'd just come and do a little video and tell you some things about this journey along with Michael that we've been going through with his cancer progress. Uh, how hard it has been for him to work or try to want to work with this cancer situation. Because in the beginning, before he was even diagnosed with cancer, he was working. He's been working with the state many years, and now he's working with public safety with the state and the juvenile services. He wants to go back to work, and I think just being out of work, wanting to go back to work, I think that's a lot on his plate he's dealing with right now. Even though he had, some minor problems, I still think he was wanting to go back to work. And when he first got out of work, he had to be out of work for a pretty good while. It's been out now over a year, and it's been hard on him. And this morning, he had to get in contact with the powers that be in Raleigh about being out of work longer. So his goals are to try to go back to work in July of this year. I don't know if that'll happen. I'm hoping it will, because he has a year and about 6 months, and he'll retire from that job, and that's his goal. He wants to retire from that job. But it's been a hard road, y'all, to see him to be so downhearted with the situation that's going on. Having cancer is bad enough, but then to know that he's not the provider that he wants to be. And because our intentions were not being here this long, even after Mama passed, we were intending to, find us something else and go on and move on out. And because the house do belong to my brother now. But we're in a situation now, we just can't see that happening. Not at this moment. So to do that, he has to go back to work to financially to be able to move. And because it's hard to even save or put up a dime, especially now. You draw Medicare. These companies don't help you if you're drawing Medicare. They feel like, well, if you're on Medicare, we don't need to help you do anything. And which is so sad. I think if a person is getting Medicare, this is when the government needs to really help them. I mean, you work all your life, you pay this stuff in, you think, well, you'll get more help, but it's always been that way. I mean, I've always knew, the government just don't care about helping people, especially when you get in your older years, and they feel like, well, you're old, go ahead and put you away. But I just wanted to come on and let y'all know the journey that we're taking and how hard it really has been. Because, like I said, before he was diagnosed with cancer, I noticed it when he was working. He'd come home from work and he would be exhausted, and I knew that was not normal for Michael. I said, Michael just don't be like that. When he get off work, he's still energetic. He has to do things that he wants to do. But the last, say, 6 months or more that he was working before he was diagnosed, sometimes he would just drag to get out the car and walk up to the house to even come in the door. It was like in a slow motion. And he worked like that for a while and didn't even tell me there was nothing going on with him. He just didn't have the energy, and even at work he didn't feel right. And then later on we found out he had cancer. And it's been that way now ever since he was diagnosed with cancer. It's been extremely hard on him to try to do everyday chores. Just like this morning, he got up. I could look at him and tell he just wasn't feeling it. He just didn't feel right. He was slow. And I keep asking him, "You okay? You okay?" No. I'll be okay though. But I think the paperwork that came in about the job had a lot to do with how he felt. Because here's another process of paperwork we got to get filled out and got to get done before he even be approved for this time to be out of work. And we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if he's going to be approved or not until we get all this paperwork signed by the doctor and turn in. That's another process we have to deal with. And it's just mentally, it's wear and tear on the body. Even though he's dealing with cancer, the cancer itself is physically wear and tear on the body. But I thought I would just come in and share some things with y'all. Since I have so many viewers now, I know they probably wanted to know some of what's going on with us and part of our, life. And because you only get to see but a few minutes of what goes on during the day. And that's it. That's all you get to know about us. But I thank you for all the views that we're getting. And it won't be long and I'll be going live. And maybe I can get to talk to some of you. And I'll set a time when I can go live. And I try to do it every day at the same time, so you'll be looking for it. But until I do, I'm going to try to come on every day or every other day and give you an update of what's going on, how we're doing, how Michael's doing. Because right now the job is the job. The job's kind of stressing him out. And he knows, we've got goals. We want to try to find us another place to live and move out. Because I know my brother has plans for this house. And financially, we're in no situation right now to try to purchase the house, and we know that. But I just wanted to share a little bit of that with y'all. And to help you to understand some about the channel that you subscribe to, about the people, about us, and how we're doing in our life. And because we both work for the state. And the state is, if anybody out there that work for the state of North Carolina knows, it's no joke. If you don't keep your paperwork together and you don't stay up on them, you'll be behind on everything. And you'll be sitting looking, well, this supposed to happen, that's supposed to happen. Then you'll sit and wait. Well, nothing didn't really happen, so what went on? And it's been months. And to the very end, you say, well, it's time. All this should have been taken care of. And then you go to digging in and prying in and what was going on. Something fell through and nobody informed you that it happened. Just like now, he filled out his paperwork for his disability a few months back. Once this disability short term was over, he had been filled out his papers for this year. Well, we didn't know until a week ago, that paperwork was just sitting there and on the desk, weren't doing nothing. And we thought it had been filed on and carried on to the people that had to, put their signature on it, and come to find out we needed another information. But nobody didn't call us and tell us nothing. And between myself and Mike and the lady that works at the doctor's office in Georgia got in behind it to see what was going on, we would have been still sitting here today wondering, when is his next paycheck going to come? When will it be accepted for this year? And because we knew we had done it over 2 months ago, plenty of time for it to be approved or not approved or whatever, but we didn't know what was going on. And that's the way the state of North Carolina works. I mean, you have to stay up on what you do, and even if you think you've got it together, it's still worth going in and checking on. And that's another thing that's bothering him, because he knows if you've got no other choice but stay in behind the state in order to get things done. And it's sad to know that you got a job that you want to go back to. Because Mike enjoys working, he really do. To go back to your job, want to go back to your job. But no, physically you're not quite ready, but you're on that road to being ready, because his last medication that he might be taking is in March. It should be pretty well ready by July for him to go back to work, and he knows this. But to be with cancer physically and then deal with the state itself when it comes to paperwork mentally, it's enough to take a toll on your body. And I just thought I would come in today and just give y'all a little bit about it, because I don't cook every single day. And that's the name of my channel, Cooking and Things. So I'm going to make this part of my things that I do. And I hope y'all will subscribe and like. And like I said, it won't be long and I'll be going live, and maybe some of my subscribers can come in and we'll have a chat every day. That would be a whole lot better than me trying to cook something every day. And then if I do get to go live and somebody wants me to know how to cook some of the things I cook, I can tell them over, on live. Because I know one lady wanted to know how to cook the homemade old-fashioned cornbread I cooked that I just posted. It's hard to you can tell it on the video you're making, but it's hard to be accurate and just tell a person. I like to look at a person, or comment with a person and just tell them exactly word for word how I did it. So that would be a lot better than just trying to tell you on a video or even put it in the description box. I can do that, but I'm not one to cook from a recipe, so I'd rather tell a person on time, where we can communicate back and forth of exactly what I've done. So it's going to be a whole lot better if I can just, I don't have much longer to go and I'll be able to go on live. And I hope that'll benefit my channel better. And I hope that'll be beneficial for my subscribers. So I'm going to get ready and go now. And I hope you have a great day. And stay warm. And make sure you subscribe and share this with somebody. Maybe there's some more people out there that's going through the same things that we're going through. Maybe we can talk and we can help each other. But like I said, I'll be back with another one. So take care now. Bye.